it good, cause we stay when it's hard. Enough for them, live is country and people don't spend it on. Them under them is fraud, enough for them sell the land. To pay rent on another land. When Guyana got a lot of land, but they blame the government. But this nation got God cover on. Blessing on everyone, listen brother man. Put two and two together, don't listen to the one. Some of them is like alcohol, heap of stuff. Anywhere we go, we just run. My this is GT Chitty boy, yeah, we got the Timmy blood, so. Oh no, I ain't going nowhere. I love this place.
Whether you're joining us here at the National Stadium, watching online, or following from across the Caribbean and our Guyanese diaspora around the world, thank you for being part of this celebration. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the arrival of His Excellency, Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana.
Good evening. All protocols are being observed. Dear land of Guyana, of rivers and plains, made rich by the sunshine and lushed by the rains, set gem-like and fair between mountains and sea. Your children salute you, dear land of the free. Dear land of Guyana, to you will we give our homage, our service, each day that we live. God guard you, great mother, and make us to be more worthy our heritage, land of the free. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may have your seats.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in recognizing the remarkable talents who helped us begin this evening's ceremony. Our national anthem was rendered by Guyanese vocalist Tunisia De Freitas, known throughout Guyana and beyond by her stage name Nikita. Hailing from Kuru Kururu on the Linden-Soesdijk Highway, Nikita continues to inspire audiences with her powerful voice and unwavering celebration of Guyanese culture. Please give her another round of applause.
And our Amerindian invocation was delivered by Aaron Stephen, a proud Wapishian son of Deep South Rupununi. This invocation draws from ancient indigenous traditions in which blessings were offered before important gatherings and community celebrations, seeking protection, wisdom, harmony, and safe passage for all present, for you and I. Tonight we gather not merely for the opening of an exposition. We gather to celebrate 60 years of Guyana's journey as an independent nation. A journey that began with courage and ambition and has evolved into one of the most remarkable development stories around the world. Today, Guyana stands as one of the fastest growing economies on earth. But our success is not measured only by growth statistics. It is measured by communities we build, the opportunities we create, and the lives we transform.
And nowhere is that transformation more visible than in housing, infrastructure, and construction. Across Guyana, new communities are rising. Families are becoming homeowners. Roads, bridges, schools, hospitals, and public facilities are reshaping the landscape of our country. What began as an ambitious national housing program has evolved into a model attracting regional and international attention.
Yes, indeed, Andrea. The International Building Expo has grown alongside that very transformation that you speak of. Today, it stands as one of the Caribbean's premier showcases for housing, construction, engineering, manufacturing, technology, and investment. For the next 4 days, Guyana becomes a meeting place for builders, architects, engineers, investors, innovators, policymakers, and entrepreneurs from across the region and around the world.
And Kurt, this year carries very special significance. As Guyana celebrates its Diamond Jubilee, we also celebrate the partnerships, investments, and ideas helping to build a stronger and more sustainable future. On behalf of the Ministry of Housing, the Central Planning Authority, and the Government of Guyana, welcome to the International Building Expo 2026.
Amazing. Distinguished guests, please allow us to recognize those gracing this historic occasion with their presence. His Excellency Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Honorable Ministers of Government, particularly the Ministers of Housing, Speaker of the National Assembly and Members of Parliament, members of the Diplomatic Corps, heads of regional and international organizations, mayors, regional chairpersons, and local government officials, captains of industry, business leaders, and investors, members of the housing, construction, and engineering sectors, representatives of the private sector, professional associations, and civil society, members of the media, specially invited guests, and of course, our fellow Guyanese joining us here at the National Stadium and around the world. And I am Kurt Campbell.
And I am Andrea King.
And we are your hosts for this evening. Thank you. To begin our cultural showcase, please welcome renowned Guyanese performer Calvin Burnett with a special presentation titled El Dorado Gold.
I tried to group production.
So here we are, under the stars, as we dream about this El Dorado's gold. And truth be told, there's a fire in my soul, one that burns so bright it cannot be controlled. Yeah, El Dorado, where the sun kisses your soul. El Dorado, a place of natural beauty, from sea to shining sea, the myth's been told, but this is El Dorado's gold, where legend spoke of a hidden place, where fortune lies and explorers chase. But what we found, though this might be true, the greatest treasure in El Dorado is me and you. El Dorado, where the sun kisses your soul. El Dorado, a place of natural beauty, from sea to shining sea, the myth's been told, but this is El Dorado's gold. The pride and the principles, so dear we each do hold, has molded great character that's worth its weight in gold. So let's strive to guard this hidden treasure the world is yet to see. Welcome to this place that I call home, El Dorado, where the sun kisses your soul. El Dorado, yeah, a place of natural beauty, from sea to shining sea, the myth's been told, but this is El Dorado's gold. The myth's been told, this is El Dorado's gold. The myth's been told, this is El Dorado's gold.
What a fitting tribute to the beauty, promise, and richness of our beloved Guyana. Please show your appreciation once again for Calvin Burnett and the team of dancers who just graced our stage. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to invite the Chief Executive Officer of the Central Housing and Planning Authority, Dr. Martin Pertab, to deliver his remarks. Please welcome Dr. Martin Pertab.
Your Excellency, Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Honorable Minister of Housing, Colin Crowell, Honorable Minister within the Ministry of Housing, Vanessa Ben, Speaker of the National Assembly, other Ministers of Government, Members of Parliament, representative of the private sector, and civil society, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is my distinct privilege to address you at the International Building Expo 2026. This year holds a special significance as Guyana celebrates 60 years of independence. It is a moment to reflect on our journey, appreciate how far we have come, and envision the future as we build together. We acknowledge, however, that our path since then has not always been easy. In the 1970s and 80s, Guyana experienced significant economic and social challenges. For instance, housing development stagnated, infrastructure deteriorated, and informal settlement expanded. By the early 1990s, nearly 108,000 people were living in squatting communities that lacked adequate sanitation, potable water, and basic infrastructure. At a macro level, the situation was equally challenging. Guyana was classified as a highly indebted poor country, burdened with a debt-to-GDP ratio approaching 750%. In fact, nearly 94% of the government revenues were consumed by debt servicing, leaving little physical space for investment in road, school, healthcare, and housing. At the same time, approximately 43% of the population live in absolute poverty, with nearly 1/3 living in extreme poverty. Yet, despite these constraints and challenges, in 1992, Guyana began laying the foundations for renewal in the housing sector. And within just 5 years, or by 1997, more than 21,000 house lots were distributed. And by 2015, allocation exceeded 115,000. Transformational housing programs such as Core Homes, Turnkey Solutions, and Young Professional Housing Scheme also made home ownership more accessible and affordable for thousands of Guyanese. For the first time, home ownership became more than just owning a house. It became a powerful vehicle for wealth creation, upward economic mobility, and greater social stability. Today, Guyana has emerged as a high-income country and is recognized as one of the fastest-growing economies in the world. In just a few years, we have built highways, connecting communities, modern bridges improving mobility, and new hospitals, schools, commercial centers, industrial facilities, and housing development, reshaping our physical landscape at an unprecedented scale and pace. In the housing sector alone over the past 5 years, more than 50,000 house lots have been allocated, with over 21,000 land titles processed and more than 550 kilometers of road upgraded or constructed, representing an investment of more than $280 billion. We have also constructed more than 2,300 homes, moving beyond simply allocating land to provide complete housing solution for young professionals, low-income families, and other beneficiaries. At the same time, we continue to advance one of Guyana's most ambitious and visionary projects, Silica City. Currently, proposals are being evaluated for the design, finance, and development of a world-class healthcare and innovation hub that would include a state-of-the-art hospital, medical research and innovation facility, a university campus, residential communities, commercial amenities, and extensive green and recreational space. This project reflects our commitment to build not merely for today, but generations to come, providing world-class amenities accessible to Guyanese people. But as we build more houses, communities, and infrastructure, we are also mindful of how we build. We have realized that our current housing challenges and those of tomorrow cannot be solved using yesterday's method alone. This is why innovation has become a center pillar of our development strategy. Today, we are actively exploring modern construction technologies, including modular and prefabricated housing solutions. These systems have the potential to significantly reduce construction time while maintaining structural strength and integrity. As we move towards our target of delivering over 40,000 houses over the next 5 years, innovation is not optional, it is an essential. Equally important is our commitment to clearing the 80,000 plus backlogs of pending housing applications. Addressing this demand would require over 5,500 acres of land and nearly 30 billion in supporting infrastructure. This is no small undertaking. Much of our coastal land has already been allocated or developed, which means we can no longer rely solely on existing public land reserves. Going forward, we'll have to purchase land from the private owners and open up new areas in other regions, which we have already started. Our focus will also have to expand to include townhouses and higher density residential development, allowing us to meet demand in ways that are economically, socially, and environmentally stable. However, this is just one side of the coin. The other is that household incomes are rising, and more Guyanese now have the financial means to invest in home ownership. For instance, between 2020 and 2025, housing application across the region increased by more than 200% compared to the period 2015 to 2020. Specifically, Region 3 and 6 have seen growth rates of 344% and 279% respectively, with more persons preferring turnkey options and young professional housing solutions. These numbers tell a very clear story. Confidence is growing, incomes are rising, and aspirations are expanding. In support of our housing drive, commercial banks have also materially reduced residential mortgage rates even further, with several now offering tier structures starting at around 3 to 3.5% for lower income borrowers and around 5% for amount of at least $50 million to $60 million. But not to toot our own horn, we have delivered, notwithstanding the state of affairs in 2020. For instance, we have simultaneously dealt with the COVID-19 pandemic, global supply chain disruption, inflationary pressures, rising commodity prices, and the effect of El Nino. And yes, some of you may say it's luck, thanks to our newfound oil wealth. But while it might have a role to play in our progress, that is just one of the many factors that determines the nation's prosperity and the success of development program. The decisive factor, and perhaps the most important, is visionary leadership. And though we have been fortunate to discover oil, I think we have been even more fortunate to have a leader with a vision, tenacity, discipline, and foresight to transform that patrimony into national blessing. Today, our leader has turned ideas into built realities and treated Guyana's future as a deliberate design. He has imagined a bold and specific future, regional hub, diverse economy, world-class living standard, and mobilized institutions to make the future physically and institutionally real. Because of his vision, we are invested proactively in highways, bridges, housing scheme, healthcare facility, energy infrastructure, and industrial demand to expand the country's absorptive capacity and position ourselves for sustained growth. We understand that increased investment, population growth, business expansion, and rising incomes would place unprecedented demand on our infrastructure. That understanding is why projects such as the Heroes Highway, the Barjagyo, the Mara River Bridge, and extensive community road upgrades were pursued aggressively. Imagine a Guyana with over 100 plus additional vehicles, but without a road network to support them. Congestion, inefficiency, bottlenecks would become commonplace and economic opportunities would be constrained. But instead, we choose preparation over reaction. Looking ahead, that same philosophy will continue to guide our investment. Major projects such as the Bosby Dam to Land of Canaan Road, the Varsil to Parika Highway, and the Lenora to Canal Link are not isolated projects. They are strategic investment designed to strengthen connectivity, unlock thousands of acres for future housing and commercial development, reduce travel times, and improve national productivity. Ladies and gentlemen, these projects represent more than just infrastructure. They represent opportunity, they represent access. They represent the physical framework upon which future generations will build their aspirations. History will remember this period as one of the most transformative eras in Guyana development, and future generations would likely judge us not only for the opportunities we inherited, but by what we build with them and the foundations we have laid for them. They will look at the roads, the bridges, homes, school, hospital, businesses, communities that emerged from this period and determine whether we rose to the occasion. But I'm confident that we will. So let us continue to build with purpose, excellence, and innovation. And above all, let us continue to build a Guyana that future generations will be proud to call home. I wish all exhibitors and participants every success at the International Building Expo 2026. May God bless you and may God continue to bless Guyana. Thank you.
Hello, Guyana. How's everyone doing tonight? Find a way, find a way, मेरे मन ये बता दे तू किस ओर चला है तू क्या पाया नहीं तूने क्या ढूंढ रहा है तू जो है कही जो है सुनी वो बात क्या है पता मितवा कहे धड़कने तुझसे क्या मितवा खुद से तो ना तू छुपा. Okay, Guyana, I want everyone to sing Mitwa with me. When you hear Mitwa, I want you to sing it with me. Okay? 1, 2, 3. मेरे मन ये बता दे तू किस ओर चला है तू क्या पाया नहीं तूने क्या ढूंढ रहा है तू जो है कही जो है सुनी वो बात क्या है पता मितवा कहे धड़कने तुझसे क्या. Let me hear you sing it. खुद से तो ना तू छुपा. गवारी निदा गवादा जरी निदा धपा परमागा गवारी निदा 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 गवादा जरी निदा 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 bara bara gavarí nida nida maga जीवन डगर में प्रेम नगर में जीवन नगर में प्रेम नगर में आया नजर में जब से कोई है तू सोचता है तू पूछता है जिसकी कमी थी क्या ये वही है हाँ ये वही है हाँ ये वही है तू एक प्यासा और ये नदी है काहे नहीं अपने ऐसे तरसाए जो है कही जो है सुनी वो बात क्या है but 1, 2, 3 मितवा कहे धड़कने तुझसे क्या मितवा खुद से तो ना तू छुपा. तेरी निगाहें पा गई राहें पर तू ये सोचे जाऊं न जाऊं ये जिंदगी जो है नाचती तो क्यों बेड़ियों में है तेरे पाँव प्रीत की धुन पर नाचल पागल उड़ता कर है उड़ने दे आंचल काहे नहीं अपने को ऐसे तरसाए जो है कही जो है सुनी वो बात क्या है पता मितवा कहे धड़कने तुझसे क्या मितवा खुद से तो ना तू छुपा मेरे मन ये बता दे तू किस ओर चला है तू क्या पाया नहीं तूने क्या ढूंढ रहा है तू
Give it up for Ben Parag. And I wouldn't dare try repeating what Ben asked us to say. But just so you know, Ben is an Indian-American vocalist of Guyanese heritage whose artistry bridges cultures and generations. Recognized internationally through the Sarigamapa and as a finalist in the Dil Hai Hindustani, he continues to showcase the rich cultural diversity that defines Guyana and the wider diaspora. Dr. Portab spoke earlier aptly to the team, Guyana at 60, building strong foundations for a sustainable future. But the success of Guyana's development story depends not only on government leadership, but also on vibrant and innovative private sector. The private sector drives investments, creates jobs, expand opportunities, and plays a vital role in transforming vision into reality. Please welcome the chairman of the Private Sector Commission, Captain Gerald Gavaya, Jr.
Good evening, everyone. Your Excellency, Dr. Irfan Ali, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Speaker of the House, Ministers of Government, Members of Parliament, Diplomatic Corps, leaders of the private sector, Guyanese. Welcome here to celebrate one of our favorite and most celebrated events of the year. International Building Expo in Guyana has become a staple, not just here in Guyana, but for the Caribbean, where we get to showcase what we can do and where the future of Guyana is heading. So first, let me congratulate Minister Colin Crowell and Minister Ben, Minister Ben, on your amazing achievement tonight in bringing together private sector leaders, not just from Guyana, but from around the region and internationally, all sitting here today to celebrate Guyana and what we can become. I think it's a very fitting slogan you have here, building a strong foundation for a sustainable future. And what does that mean? It means that today we get to define what does it mean to be Guyanese, but not in just how we speak and what we do, but the legacy that we leave for our children and our children's children. If you think about it, when you close your eyes and you envision what a Mediterranean house looks like, or a Spanish house looks like, images pop into your head. If you think about what it looks like to be in the Middle East, you start to think of certain architectural designs. This is what we're doing here today. We are defining what does it mean to be Guyanese in how we build, and what we leave behind. So, you know, it's amazing to hear all the things that Dr. Pratap spoke about in terms of what we have built: bridges, roads, housing, buildings. But what's more important is the fact that it is no longer just here in Georgetown, but countrywide. Because we're not just measuring. Good evening, everyone. I would like to recognize the Prime Minister of Jamaica, as well as our Prime Minister coming to the event today. Please get a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. So it's really more than all of those amazing achievements that we were able to get in just the last 5 years. But what's more important is that we're bringing these opportunities to every corner of Guyana simultaneously, and that is something that we need to celebrate as Guyanese here today. The Private Sector Commission stands firmly in that responsibility lies with each and every one of us. It's not just about the growth, but it's how do we build the safety in our buildings, the sustainability in our practices, the competitiveness of our businesses, and the international standards that we uphold here in Guyana. So for every contractor that's in this room, every builder, every architect, every engineer, you are defining Guyana to our future and to the rest of the world. So what I want to say is that the Private Sector Commission, we're not just standing by, we're not just looking by and seeing things happening, we are making it happen. And if you think about the statistics that Dr. Pratap just spoke about, 8,000 homes per year, and if you do the math, that's 21 homes per day that we have to be building every single day for the next 5 years. Ladies and gentlemen, in short, we cannot do it alone. So I hope that every single business in here, every single international investor in here understand that Guyanese, we're hard workers, we're aggressive business people, and we are looking for partners to accelerate and leapfrog Guyana into the future, and we want your partnership here in Guyana. We have a government that has created the largest, I guess the mic still works, the largest opportunity for builders here in Guyana. We have an investment climate that has never been stronger. We have a GDP growing at double digits year after year, and the pace is not slowing down. So it is up to us here in the private sector to take advantage of the hard work that this government has did and laid the framework for us to invest, for us to build, and for us to partner to work together to push this country into the future. So I want to encourage everyone here today again, at this expo, you will see people that have innovative projects. You will see technology. You will see international partners coming to the front. You will see the opportunities being laid out in front of you, and the ball is in our court as the private sector. The government doesn't build the houses. They create the framework, which they have done. It is now up to us to do the work as the private sector. And I want to tell you that as the chairman, I have never been more confident in my private sector to execute. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy the rest of the show and understand that this is just the beginning of a 4-day period where we showcase the amazingness that is Guyana, we showcase the amazingness that is the opportunities before us, and we showcase the unity and solidarity and how we push Guyana forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Gavaya Jr. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to officially acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Brigadier Retired Mark Phillips, the Prime Minister of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Also gracing this occasion this evening is Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, and one of the Caribbean's most influential voices on economic growth, innovation, and regional development. Dr. Holness is also joined by the Foreign Affairs Minister of Jamaica and the Minister of Industry.
And Kurt, we are moving along in the program now. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like all of you to help me introduce to the stage, performing his hit song, Guyana's Paradise. Please welcome Vintage.
Come down to a place so blessed of rivers and mountains, and the riches that we own. It's somewhere that you can't forget. What you see we culture, it bound to hit the soul. From the moment that you touch down, you feel the love around. Every smile and every song like you in the heart of tongue. It's a special place and you just have to appreciate it. And when the gates open, just make sure you're shouting loud and Guyana we land, Guyana we own. There's so many stories haven't been told. Welcome to the land of diamond and gold. Have we heard it pumping right off the shore? Guyana we land, Guyana we own. There's so many stories haven't been told. Welcome to the land. Have we heard it pumping right off the shore? And this is paradise, yeah. Every day it feels so nice. From the city where it lies, straight to the countryside. Guyana is beyond 6 races, beautiful people. In every region there is a place that you can relax and clear your mind. The flavor in we food is the sweetest. If you stay away for too long, then you surely from the moment that you touch down, you feel the love around. Every smile and every song like you in the heart of tongue. It's a special place and you just have to appreciate it. And when the gates open, just make sure you're shouting Guyana we land, Guyana we own. There's so many stories haven't been told. Welcome to the land. Have we heard it pumping right off the shore? And this is paradise, yeah. Every day it feels so nice, yeah. Straight to the countryside. Guyana is beyond. Come down to a place so blessed of rivers and mountains, and the riches that we own. It's somewhere that you can't forget, so Lord. Once you see we culture, it bound to hit the soul. From the moment that you touch down, you feel the love. So what? Every smile and every. If you love Guyana, let me see you put your hands in the air like so. Show me a signal. Start to wave. 1, 2, 1, 2, sing. Guyana we own. There's so many stories haven't been told. Welcome to the land. Have we heard it pumping right off the shore? And this is paradise, yeah. Every day it feels so nice, yeah. Straight to the countryside. Guyana is beyond. Thank you.
Thank you, Vintage, for bringing the energy to the stage and giving us that wonderful tribute to our homeland. Ladies and gentlemen, what you see here tonight is the hard work of many persons, but among them is a woman whose determination knows no bounds. Please welcome the Honorable Vanessa Ben, Minister within the Ministry of Housing, for her address.
Thank you. Your Excellency, Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali,
our dear President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Honorable Prime Minister Mark Phillips, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, and your delegation, inclusive of 2 ministers, welcome to Guyana. I'd also like to recognize the Speaker of our National Assembly, colleague members of Cabinet, members of Parliament, members of the Diplomatic Corps, heads of the discipline services, special invited guests, exhibitors, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Tonight, Guyana stands as the most exciting moment in our history. Our parents and the wider society may opine that these transformative times are second only to the achievement of our nation's independence 60 years ago. We are witnessing in real time the rapid expansion of our economy, while various growth sectors, including construction and agriculture, are improving at an exponential rate. There are ever-increasing investments in public and private sectors, which, aside from the development they propel, offer extraordinary opportunities for the enhancement of the lives and livelihoods of our citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, our 60-year-old Guyana, still a relatively young nation, is attracting greater global confidence and recognition. Such confidence has bolstered us in offering, for a second time, a candidate for the position of Secretary General of the United Nations. I am truly excited to witness our dear sister, Her Excellency Caroline Rodriguez-Burkett, Guyana's permanent representative to the United Nations, as she vies to be elected the first female to hold that significant post. Your Excellency, Mr. President, please allow me to say, go, Caroline, go. We are here cheering you on. As we witness this unprecedented development with new roads and highways connecting communities, modern infrastructure is reshaping our landscape. And I hope as you entered the pavilion this evening, you are getting the feel of what we're doing as a government to indeed transform our city and to transform the model communities across our country into healthy spaces for the benefit of all our citizens. We are witnessing that transformation as a nation. Ladies and gentlemen, this People's Progressive Party civic government is building a Guyana that is sustainable, strategic, and smart for decades to come. And I believe that deserves a round of applause. Our government recognizes that housing is much more than a piece of land. It is about the kind of life we want our citizens, our successive generations to experience, whether our communities are aesthetically pleasing, safe, and equipped to withstand the challenges of the future, including climate change. Throughout our history, access to housing development has empowered generations of Guyanese families. Many of the advances we see today are built on the strong foundation that our dear President, His Excellency Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, has put in place since during his time having the position as Minister of Housing and Water. He has built a strong foundation for us to move forward on, and his legacy continues. When Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali was sworn in as president, including in his speech, in his inaugural speech, I wish to quote one of the intentions during which he said that he wished to deliver to the people of Guyana a better quality of service. As president, he is committed to this vision through deliberate planning and strong leadership. And so the housing sector, my dear ladies and gentlemen, has transformed through bold policies and expanded housing programs, and that housing communities continue to serve as a catalyst for economic development. And so as we look forward towards 2030 and beyond, our government continues to set the focus way beyond the allocation of land. And our work program at the Ministry of Housing is pivotal to supporting the national development as a whole.
We recognize the future development must be coordinated, resilient, inclusive, and sustainable. We continue to utilize integrated land use planning to guide every stage of our development. Indeed, there is greater collaboration, is growing across ministries, agencies, local authorities, and others as we build a Guyana that balances housing development, industrial expansion, agriculture, environmental conservation, transportation, and public infrastructure. The spirit of collaboration is evident even in our National Beautification Program, and we try to give you a taste of that experience of what we're building here at the International Building Expo 2026, and I hope that you're enjoying the atmosphere that we have tried to create. Ladies and gentlemen, it's always a bit of a challenge to come and speak between such eloquent gentlemen who are quite deliberate in the amount of detail that they share. So I'm trying to shift about in my speech, but I just wanted to share just very quickly that under our president's leadership, as our country and our cabinet, our government works assiduously to bring faster, more efficient, and consumer-friendly services to our people, the Central Housing and Planning Authority's single window system, which just marked its second year in operation, is exemplary in bringing the review process of building applications on one portal, accessible by all users, and at the same time by the agencies which have the responsibility to review those applications. And so indeed, we are modernizing our approach. What is happening under my colleague, Mr. Zulfikar Ali, in the Ministry of Public Service is creating all those various platforms, including our e-network system. It would be remiss of me not to use the opportunity of having the microphone and the podium at this point, not to pique your interest into what this Expo offers. So one of the aspects of the Expo is a seminar. We will have a seminar for 2 days, starting tomorrow from 1 p.m. to 6 in the evening, and it will cover a various number of topics. It will include sustainable urban planning, digital transformation, looking at the single window system I just mentioned, building new technologies and smart solutions, looking at waste management on construction sites, climate change and resiliency in construction industry and cities, specifically our partners at the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority. We speak about drainage and flood risk during construction, how we look at transitioning the housing stock to more energy efficient households. And also, we will speak indeed about the digital transformation in the building and construction industry. Ladies and gentlemen, I really wish to thank you again for your attention and welcome you once more. I join our Masters of Ceremony in welcoming you, particularly our visiting head of state, the Prime Minister of Jamaica and his team. And I thank you for your attention. May God bless you all. This Expo goes for 4 days. We look forward to welcoming you here again. Enjoy.
Dinta 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 na dinta no
धीरे ना धीरे ना तुम तनन धीरे ना धीरे ना तुम तनन धीरे ना धीरे ना तुम तनन धीरे ना धीरे ना उदन धीम तदन धीम तन धीरे ना उदन धीम तदन धीम तन धीरे ना धीम तनो धनो धनो धीरे ना धीम तनो धनो धनो धीरे तुम तनन धीरे ना उदन धीम तधीरे ना धीरे ना उदन धीम तधीरे ना उदन धीम तधीरे ना धीरे ना उदन धीम तधीरे ना धीरे ना 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 धीम तधीरे 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 ना धीम तदन तुम तनन धीरे ना धीरे ना तुम तनन धीरे ना धीरे ना उदन धीम तदन धीम तन धीरे ना उदन धीम तदन धीम तन धीरे ना धीम तनो धनो धनो धीरे ना धीम तनो धनो धनो धीरे ना धीम तनो धनो धनो धीरे ना
Ladies and gentlemen, the Burbies Delight, proudly representing, and I say that again, proudly representing Region 6 and their Indian culture through dance and music. And now, it is my distinct honor to invite a man who has worked not just over the last 6 days, but over the last 6 years to transform housing in Guyana and to take this very expo to the next level. The Honorable Colin Crowell, Minister of Housing.
His Excellency Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Honorable Retired Brigadier Mark Phillips, Prime Minister of Guyana, Dr. the Most Honorable Dr. Andrew Holmes, Prime Minister of Jamaica, Senator the Honorable Kamina Johnson-Smith, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade of Jamaica, Senator the Honorable Obin Hill, Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce of Jamaica, my cabinet colleagues, but more particularly my colleague, Minister in the Ministry of Housing, Minister Vanessa Ben, members of the Diplomatic Corps, exhibitors, Speaker of the National Assembly, contractors, developers, financial institutions, partners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, good evening to all of you. I am delighted to welcome you to this International Building Expo 2026, hosted here under the theme, and timely too, and meaningful, Guyana at 60, building strong foundations for a sustainable future. And as we continue to celebrate this 60th year of independence, it is truly remarkable to witness Guyana's transformative urban landscape over these last 60 years that is even evolving day by day. For example, the magnitude and the success of the People's Progressive Party civic government housing program. And in our most recent term in office alone, and all that we've set out to achieve, we've surpassed those targets. And so, for example, while we've said we have allocated over 53,000 house lots in the last period, What is more important for us is that over 45% of those allottees were people of the low-income bracket, reaffirming our commitment to ensuring that home ownership remains accessible to ordinary Guyanese. Every corner of this country is being amplified by the social and economic benefits of construction. Whether it's the construction of your house, being employed to build a high-rise building, or just driving along enjoying our newly built 4-lane highway, Guyanese are enjoying the multiplier effects of the construction industry. This expo provides an opportunity for us to showcase not just the products, the services, and the innovations in construction and housing, but to showcase how far we have come as a nation since independence, and more importantly, where we are going. My dear friends, in 2009, the People's Progressive Party civic government made a strategic decision to transform Guyana's housing sector by expanding beyond the allocation of house lots to the direct provision of housing units. So hence followed were initiatives such as the Core Home Program, Young Professional Home Program, hinterland housing. We sought to address the diverse housing needs of Guyanese from different income brackets and all regions of our country. Today, that vision continues to guide our housing agenda. Building on the success of the past and responding to the growing demand for affordable housing, your government has committed through its manifesto to the construction of over 40,000 new homes over these 5 years. As its core, housing is about dignity. It's about security. It's about opportunity. It's about a community and a family. And it's likely the single most important investment a family will ever make for their future. Ownership of a home shapes how children grow, how communities develop, how generational wealth is created. Housing today encompasses the establishment of sustainable communities, completed with the roads, the drainage, the water and electricity networks, recreational spaces, commercial hubs, and connecting to major economic corridors. In keeping with the new and emerging demands of the sector, the Ministry of Housing has taken deliberate steps towards a more responsive, modern, and service-oriented approach to delivering housing solutions to Guyanese. As part of our commitment to improving service daily, we are ensuring that citizens also receive their land ownership documents in a timely manner. The Ministry of Housing recently engaged the land registrar to address the challenges affecting the processing of certificates of titles. The rapid expansion of the housing development across the country, driven by government's aggressive housing program, has resulted in a significant increase in the number of titles being generated by the Central Housing and Planning Authority. And while this reflects the success of our housing drive, it has also placed increased operational demands on the land registry, leading to longer processing times. However, through increased interagency collaborative efforts to reduce this backlog, for example, over 2,200 certificate of titles will be available for distribution over the upcoming 3 days during this expo. Yesterday alone, we added another 400 titles in Berbice. Looking back at the last 5 years, we were able to process over 25,000 titles. And this year alone, for the first 6 months, we have already processed over 6,500 titles. As such, I would like to extend sincere appreciation to both the Registrar of Lands and Deeds and their team for their proactive response and continued collaboration, as we have now reduced the processing time from which was more than 6 months. We are working now within a 3-month time frame. Our country is expanding at an unprecedented pace, driven by broad economic growth, infrastructure expansion, and the increased investor confidence, Guyana's economy continues to rank among the fastest growing in the world. That growth alone has brought opportunity, but also places greater demands on planning and preparation. And this is why International Building Expo, the brainchild of His Excellency President Ali, is so important. What began as a sector-focused exhibition has evolved into the most significant platform for housing, for construction, and strategic engagements. It is an environment where developers, contractors, engineers, architects, suppliers, financial institutions, regulators, and consumer can all interact in a shared space. It has become a marketplace for ideas so that we can have the finest minds within the ecosystem engaging and interacting. It is now a space where stakeholders can discuss affordability, sustainability, climate resilience, financing, urban planning, and new construction technologies. This interaction is important because the continued advancement of the sector demands and it depends on strong partnerships and collaboration. Each year, we see more exhibitors, more innovations, more partnerships, and more regional and international interest in our local economy. This growth mirrors what is happening in Guyana itself. This year, we have seen an increase of over 25 new booths being reserved when you compare to last year. This year, we have seen more international companies joining, for example, from Costa Rica, Mexico, Japan, United Kingdom, India, just to name a few. And as we build for the future, we must ask the difficult but necessary questions. How do we reduce cost while maintaining standards? How do we create communities that are resilient to flooding and climate risks? How do we integrate sustainability into every phase of our development? Over these 4 days, I am hopeful that we will get new and more innovative answers to these questions as construction methods evolve globally. Countries like ours must remain open to new technologies, modern building solutions, and more efficient approaches to development. This includes stronger building standards, climate resilient designs, sustainable materials, and smarter urban planning. I wish to encourage all of our patrons and visitors to take full advantage of this opportunity. Ask the questions, explore new durable products and designs, learn more about emerging technologies, engage with the experts that they are gathered here. To our exhibitors, your presence here contributes to the growth and modernization of this sector. And for that, I thank you for your support that you give to this event. And for all the years that you have been with us, it is greatly appreciated. You are helping to shape the physical future of Guyana. Every block, every beam, every design solution, every engineering improvement contributes to the national story we are building together. I am confident that this year's Expo will continue to foster meaningful engagements and deliver value to all our participants. To our regional and international partners, welcome. Your presence signals confidence in Guyana's trajectory. It is your time, it's your first time in Guyana, and I urge you to come on board with us and be part of this experience. In closing, I want to thank, and I cannot close without doing this, to thank our dedicated staff at the Ministry of Housing and Central Housing and Planning Authority, our partners in the private sector, the contractors, engineers, and workers who put in the hard hours to make our projects a reality. I want to encourage everyone watching our live broadcast from home to visit this expo. Bring your families along. There are fun activities for the children while you engage with the exhibitors. This is your moment. This is your Guyana. Let's continue to build it together. Thank you and best wishes for a successful Building Expo 2026.
Thank you, Minister Kroll. I don't know what you heard, but I heard more, growth, 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 and build, build, build. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up once more for the government's vision in housing. The story of Guyana's growth is also a story of regional partnership. The International Building Expo demonstrates what can be achieved when Caribbean nations share ideas, expertise, and opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my privilege to welcome a distinguished regional leader, a champion of economic modernization, entrepreneurship, and Caribbean cooperation. Please rise and join me in welcoming Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica.
Thank you, Mr. Master of Ceremonies. Please. My friend, my brother, the President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Irfan Ali. I start off in this way because I want to convey, Mr. President, to your people, the close relationship that we have, not just as colleagues, heads of state, but we see eye to eye on many issues. And it is indeed a great honor for me to be in your beautiful country. And thank you for the lovely arrangements that you have made for my visit here and the hospitality shown to my team that is here. Allow me to acknowledge as well your Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Phillips, Prime Minister of Guyana, the Minister of Housing and other members of your cabinet who are here, and my own tiny delegation that I brought with me, with my Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Kamina Johnson-Smith, and the Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, the Honorable Orbin Hill, members of the Diplomatic Corps, members of the Guyanese and international private sector who are here, distinguished ladies and gentlemen all, it is indeed a good evening. It is a pleasure for me to return to Guyana after about 8 years. And I must say that Guyana has changed quite a bit. Yes, the development can only be described as fantastic. As Guyana marks 60 years of independence, this Expo provides an opportunity to recognize the country's remarkable progress and to consider the decisions that will shape its development for decades to come. One of the critical decisions that you face would be, how do you expand housing opportunity for your population? Because housing is actually about independence. When families have secure housing, they can make long-term decisions. They can make decisions about the education of their children, decisions about their savings and pensions. But more than that, having secured housing, particularly housing secured by title, it makes them an owner. An owner is totally different from a renter or someone who is irregularly occupying. An owner is a steward, not just of the housing asset, but of the community in which that housing is built. So as you celebrate your 60th year and you are reflecting on your housing policy, you are actually strengthening your community through housing. Housing is also a powerful economic activity. It creates its own demands for material, for transportation, for finance, for insurance, for skilled labor. It supports employment today while building a future for tomorrow. And Guyana has demonstrated what can be achieved when land, infrastructure, finance, and as I have seen displayed here, political will is brought together. Your housing program has involved not just housing, not just houses, but service land, roads, drainage, water, electricity, but above all, from what I have seen and all that I have heard, you are investing in building communities. That integrated approach offers an important lesson for our region. We cannot plan housing separately from transportation, from sanitation, from schools, health facilities, digital connectivity, areas of employment, but more importantly, from how people live together as a community. And from what I have seen and all that I have heard, it is clear that your president and his ministers are visionary in this regard. And you see this vision materializing by the roads that are being built with great thought and planning, by the drainage that accompanies these roads, by the connectivity and all the other infrastructure, which is not just a road, you build a utility corridor, but you use those roads as well in ways to ensure that there is public order by the digital assets that you place on those roads to help to manage traffic and manage public order issues. And then from that utility corridor, you provide the service to the lots that people will occupy and build on in the future. That is vision, that is planning, that is good government. Jamaica itself is going through a housing boom. Clearly not on the scale of what is happening here in Guyana, but a housing boom nonetheless. We estimate in Jamaica that there is a housing deficit of approximately 150,000 housing solutions. The government of Jamaica has undertaken to directly provide through the various agencies of government 70,000 of those solutions. Our National Housing Trust will build 42,000 of those solutions. And we already have the plan to build that number of housing, and we have already built 10,000 of that number. And we continue to build thousands of houses every year. But I would share with you that the greatest constraint on the construction of housing solutions would not be finance. For Jamaica, the greatest constraint would be the supply side constraints, the availability of contractors who can build at scale, the availability of labor and technical skills that can operate with new innovations and new materials. And of course, the speed of government itself in giving planning and construction approvals. These have been our challenges. I'm very pleased to hear that in Guyana, you have taken on with great courage the efficiency of the government bureaucracy in delivering the approvals for housing. And I'm told that you now have a one-stop shop and that you have cut the approval times for as high as 3 years to now 3 months. That is to be applauded. But I believe there are opportunities for Jamaica and Guyana to collaborate in the housing development sphere, particularly as it relates to labor and the deployment of new technologies in construction. And I look forward to advancing these conversations with your president to see how best we can collaborate as two developing nations to improve our people's access to housing. I started off my presentation by referring to your president as my friend. And I have good reason to do so. Jamaica was hit by a Category 5 hurricane, the third strongest hurricane recorded in history. It devastated the southwestern and northwestern end of the island. Over 900,000 persons were impacted. Over 150,000 homes were impacted. Your president, among other leaders of the region, took the time to visit Jamaica and to visit what we call the ground zero, the point of impact of the hurricane. And he spent the day with me going through the areas that were devastated. He did not leave me empty-handed. He said, Prime Minister, I will send materials for you, and I will send my a deployment of the Guyanese Defense Force to come and assist in rebuilding. That meant a lot to me. And I'm here today to say thank you, my friend, President Ali, and thank you directly to the people of Guyana for your kind consideration of your brothers and sisters in Jamaica who were impacted. That is what regional integration is all about. At the end of the day, we stand in solidarity and support for each other in tangible ways, and I am truly grateful. I must say that the members of your defense force did quite an amazing job, and all the reports of the people who benefited is that the workmanship was of the highest standard, and please convey to them again my great appreciation. But Jamaica will recover, and we have already started to recover. But it is not our intention to rebuild what was there. We're going to rebuild what should have been there in the first place, and we're going to rebuild better than what was there before. And that is why we have established the National Reconstruction and Resilience Agency, a special entity of government with its own laws to fast-track development. And from the examples that we have seen here in Guyana, it is clear that we can build quickly and we can build well. There is a culture in our public bureaucracy. I'm not sure it exists in Guyana anymore because President Ali has courageously stamped it out based upon what I have seen. But there is a culture that if it didn't take long, it wasn't well done. And it is an affliction of Caribbean public administration that we need to change. This is the era of getting things done at the speed of thought. The time that we waste trying to perfect processes that are outdated, artificial intelligence is narrowing and compacting the time to delivery. New materials are being developed that changes the process of construction. And we must move with speed and intent to ensure that we are not left behind by the changes in technology and that we don't miss out on the opportunities created. And that is why we have created this special purpose entity to drive the redevelopment of Jamaica in response to the disaster of Hurricane Melissa. And what I've seen here in Guyana confirms what we are doing in Jamaica as the correct thing. Guyana is moving at pace and growing at an incredibly fast pace, and it is admirable, and we should all seek to adopt the pace at which Guyana is growing. I want to commend the organizers of this event. It is absolutely important to bring together all the stakeholders involved in housing, including the private sector, including persons involved in the logistics and supply chain, to create that community around housing development. And indeed, I consider it a pleasure, President Ali, to be able to view and participate. You're giving me some ideas. When you visit us in Jamaica, you may be standing at this podium delivering my speech, and of course, praising me as I have praised you. My friends, again, it is a great pleasure. And I wish Guyana and the people of Guyana a happy 60th anniversary, and may your success continue with God's richest blessings. I thank you, my friends.
lutoy Maripada pone kasama Kecila weton no peje sama Balong kare kajarat no peje sama Kecila oye tanse Jika nyara te bonde Dare soro ga konaru
Good night, Building Expo. If you're from Guyana, put your hands in the air right now. Put your right hand in the air. Oh my Guyanese, Jamaican. Hey, tell me where you're born. Show me where you grow. Show me where you come from. Country or island. Tell me where you're born. Show me where you grow. Show me where you come from. Country or island. I see you repping when you're jumping. You're repping when you're whining. You're repping. Always representing. I see you repping when you're venting. You're repping when you're drinking. You're repping. Always representing. I say hello. Hello, hello. Local people. Beautiful people. Come let we play. Come let we play a mass. Play together. Yes, that is the order. No matter where we roam, no matter where we go, there is no place like home, sweet home. No matter where we fly, we gotta realize you must go back home. Everybody from housing, put your hand in the air. Tell me where you're born. Show me where you grow. Show me where you come from. Country or island. Tell me where you're born. Dr. Ali, put your hand in the air. Tell me where you come from. Country or island. I see you repping when you're jumping. You're repping when you're whining. You're repping. Always representing. I see you repping when you're venting. You're repping when you're... If you're from Guyana, let me hear you make some noise.
What an outstanding display of culture, creativity, and unity by the Berbice Delights, Riverside Angels, and the National Dance Company. And of course, one of our legends, our 2026 Soca Monarch, Adrian Dutchin.
I see the president is already making his way to the stage, so I'll just go ahead and introduce the president. Long before assuming the nation's highest office, he served as minister responsible for housing and was instrumental in expanding home ownership opportunities, advancing community development, and laying the foundation for many of the policies that continue to transform lives today. Indeed, the International Building Expo itself was conceived and launched under his stewardship of the housing sector. Today, as president, he continues to champion a vision of sustainable development, economic prosperity, and opportunity for every Guyanese. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and join me in welcoming His Excellency, Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, for the preacher address.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Please have your seats. My good friend and my brother, the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, ministers of government from both Guyana and Jamaica, the people of Guyana and Jamaica, distinguished members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. This evening is indeed another incredible day in the journey of our development. And my dear friend, the Most Honorable Dr. Andrew Holness, I don't need to come to Jamaica to start singing your praise or speaking about you. I've been doing so for a very long time. I've been speaking about your dynamic leadership. I've been speaking about the spirit of the people of Jamaica. And the spirit of the people of Jamaica is as a direct result of the investment your leadership is making in their lives. The confidence to look at adversity in its face and still dream and think of a better tomorrow is because of their own awareness that the leadership that they have can take them to a better tomorrow, and that is important. When the population can see in the leadership, in the policy-making environment, confidence, they can see the ability of doing better, being better. And I think in my visit and my many conversations with you and my dear friend, the Foreign Minister, Minister Kamini, she is an incredible regional personality, and I want to applaud you and welcome you also, and my brother, also the Minister of Industry and Investment. Now, a lot has already been said. And I want to assure the Prime Minister too that our promised second phase of support in your recovery program will be delivered. We are known for keeping our promises. And we're speaking not only about collaboration on housing, energy, but today we spoke about collaboration in culture and sports, how Jamaica can help our athletes in your elite training center, and how we can support your athletes in the building out of our own cricketing academy. So the conversations we are having, I am sure, would deliver stronger partnerships at the level of government, the level of private sector, and more importantly, at the integration of our people from Jamaica and here in Guyana. I spoke earlier of confidence, and I was looking at some figures. And you have heard a lot. In 2015, when the People's Progressive Party Civic handed over the leadership of the housing sector, we had in the pipeline in housing more than 20,000 lots that was under development. And we left about 39,000 applicants in the system, which would have meant that really the task of the government then was to create the infrastructure and deliver 21,000 lots, because 2020 was already in the system. When we came back in office, what was the situation? You had 41, 20 the system, 21 to deliver. But we came back with a backlog of 22,000. But worse than that, the confidence of delivery was so low that new applicants in the system were really backing off of the system. What took place between 2020 and now is nothing short of extraordinary. Because of the confidence of people in knowing that they will get the house lots, the confidence of people in knowing that there is a government that is prioritizing housing, that is investing in housing, and that is delivering in housing, the application in that period grew by 60,000. That is not accidental. That is because of the confidence in the system and everybody wanting to be part of the growth story, owning their own homes. And that is where we are today. 81,000 applications in the system. Out of the 81 is new applicants. We have cleared the backlog more or less. New applicants, that is from 2020 and beyond, is 67,000. And the average age of that 67,000 is about 23 plus years old. Can you imagine in any economic scenario where a 23-year-old is taking their step to home ownership with confidence, knowing that there is a government that will deliver? That by itself is an amazing story. We speak about 60 years of independence. There was a time when 10 families lived in the same house, sharing 2 bedrooms. Today, your 21-year-old is dreaming of owning their own home because of a system that is supporting that type of thinking. And I want to address the issue of outstanding titles. Between 2020 and 2026, we were able to process 30,000 titles. We have outstanding titles to process at just over 20,000. I can assure you that what we took 5 years to process, we will not take a single year, because we're going to back the system to clear the backlog of all titles that need to be processed. But we also need the allotee to ensure from their end they're concluding their transaction to have the title delivered to them. Because whilst we have processed 30,000 titles, there are still thousands of titles in the vault awaiting delivery. Let me also pause at this moment to recognize the remarkable staff of the Ministry of Housing and the Central Housing and Planning Authority. And I know they're remarkable because they have not only been delivering over the last 5 years, they've delivered, and I can tell you personally, they've delivered between 2008 to 2015, just as they're delivering to this commitment to service and commitment to excellence. Now I want to address also some challenges that we have. Social housing. And in the coming weeks, I'll be outlining with great clarity a housing development strategy that will reduce our backlog to zero in the next 4+ years. But more importantly, a strategy that will directly target the different segments of vulnerability in our system. Persons living with disability, single parent, persons living in extreme vulnerability. We are designing a system that will allow you to have a home in which you can live in dignity. And in the coming weeks, I will outline a clear strategy of how we are going to deliver homes to people who meet this criteria. And at the same time, how we're going to invest in the low, moderate, and medium income homes to meet the expectations of the people of Guyana at the scale of which the expectation is growing. Now it's important to note that we are seeing a movement towards homes instead of land, because the population is having more confidence in the CHP and housing delivering homes instead. Many persons are saying to us, we want to transfer to the young professional. So recently, I met a young lady, 25 years old, in the Le Souvenir area. And she said to me, Mr. President, I now understand what you mean when you speak about the growth of our net value. She said to me, she bought a piece of land, a high-income land, at $2.5 million from the Ministry of Housing. And when she went for the valuation, she was shocked, because in less than 18 months, the valuation for the land was 53 million Guyana dollars. That is not accidental. That is because of the investment we are putting with the land. That is because of the roads, the drainage, the water, the light. That is because of an entire ecosystem that is working at creating value. An entire ecosystem that is working at expanding value. Now, these conversations, sometimes, though simple, seems too technical for the parliament of our country. Because I would sit and listen to debates in the parliament when people ask questions about what more roads, we can eat the roads. They don't understand what is meant by value creation. And let me help them to understand just a bit more. Between 2020 to 2025, the growth in real estate loan moved from 90 billion to 185 billion. The growth in loans for private dwelling moved from 82 billion to 141 billion. The growth in industrial development moved from 7.9 billion to 41 billion. Now imagine this. Not only the growth, but guess what? The non-performing loan has declined at its lowest ever in the history of the banking system. That is, not only people are borrowing, but they are more capable of paying for the loan. And let me help those who ask about this type of investment, about the necessity of this type of investment. For every dollar we spend on construction, for every dollar we spend, both in the public and private sector, on construction, the economic benefit in value term is $2.5. For every dollar, the multiplier effect. Let us look at that in absolute terms in two commodities alone. Stone. In 2020, we produced 700,000 tons of stone. That is production and import. In 2025, at the end of 2025, our production was 5.6 million tons. Sand, in 2020, it was 408,000 tons. In 2025, 408,000 in 2020. In 2025, it was 15 million tons. These numbers tell a story. But there are some who are disinterested in this story because their minds are stuck on one tune. And that tune is criticize, 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 oppose, 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 lie, 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 and hope that some of it will stick. I said to the cabinet that we must not allow those voices that are few in numbers to erode the enormous work and transformation that is taking place in our country. We have a responsibility to do that. So today, as we gather at the International Building Expo, I declare without fear of contradiction that we are not just constructing buildings, roads, bridges, and aerodromes. We are building a nation. And the foundations of our nation have never been stronger. The evidence is irrefutable. Our people, the greatest asset of this republic, are rising confidently to meet the challenges and opportunities of transformation. Our education system is being revolutionized, equipping a new generation with the knowledge, skills, and competencies required for the Guyana of tomorrow. Our system of rule of law is being fortified to create a safer, more secure, and more just society. And whilst many people may not see the importance of modern laws in the transformation, many of the things we're doing in government would be meaningless if the law, the amendments, the transformation, and the upgrade of our legal architecture is not also done at an equal pace to support the transformation that is taking place. Our democratic institutions continue to be strengthened and protected. Our infrastructure is being modernized and expanded. Our people, under the One Guyana banner, are finding greater common purpose, drawing strength from our diversity, and forging a deeper sense of national unity. These are the unmistakable and undeniable indicators of a nation foundation, the prosperity of our people, the happiness of our people, the safety of our people, the consciousness of our people, the ability of our people to dream and implement the dream of owning things. Look around the stadium. Over 500 exhibitors, developers, banks, material suppliers, prefabricated housing companies, green technology providers, architects and engineers from across the region and beyond. Guyana's economy is solid. In the first quarter of 2026 alone, just the first 3 months of this year, Guyana received over $761 million from the Stabroek Bloc. Importantly, our economy is now projected to grow by over 30% this year. In the first quarter of 2026, the estimated growth is over 35%. You will agree that growth by itself is not the measure of national success. The true test is whether today's prosperity is transformed into tomorrow's security. Whether the wealth generated in this remarkable moment is preserved, managed wisely, and shared across generations. That is why, even as our economy surges forward, we have entrenched safeguards that will ensure that the benefits of our national resources endure long after the last barrel is produced or the last ounce is produced. We have broken through the US $4 billion barrier in our National Resource Fund. Critically, our story is not an oil story. Our story is about the non-oil economy, the story of diversification, the story of sustainability, the story of leadership, the story of investment, the story of world-class healthcare, world-class education, world-class infrastructure. That is the story of Guyana. When we look across our country today, we see the thousands of new homes. But sometimes we forget, just sometimes we forget, that this is not accidental. When we were returned to office in 2020, the New Building Society, the institution that has for generations been the home for the ordinary Guyanese boroughs, had a mortgage ceiling of just 8 million Guyana dollars. Today, families, young Guyanese, are benefiting from a ceiling at a new building society that is 30 million Guyana dollars. And the interest rate for up to 30 million is capped at 5%. The new building society would have seen a near four-fold increase in borrowing capacity from the ordinary Guyanese family. But we did not stop there. The power of comparative financial system is when a government moves, the market follows. And it has moved with extraordinary speed. Republic Bank has removed its residential mortgage ceiling entirely. No limit. They're offering mortgages up to 60 million Guyana dollars at 5% interest, with rates beginning at 3.5%. And they have launched the Mortgage Move product, so that if you're already paying a higher rate at another bank, you can transfer to Republic Bank and access the savings that they offer. GBTI, effective May 1st this year, restructured its entire mortgage portfolio with rates as low as 3%. That is not a promotional rate. That is their standard offering for qualified borrowers. Brought down even further. This is even brought down even further through their loyalty program for eligible customers. These are rates that were between 8 to 15% just 5 years ago. Citizen Bank introduced a new mortgage structure in April. Rates now starting at 3.5% up to 35 years. 100% construction financing. So that 25% that they used to ask you to put up front historically has been removed. 100% financing for construction. And it goes further. Zero commitment fees, zero processing fees, and a 48-hour loan approval turnaround. That is the confidence in the system. That is the confidence in our economy. And I can say the same for Demerara Bank, 3%. Expanding loan portfolio, unlimited borrowing. Same for Scotiabank. They have also reduced their interest rate. And that is not all. The government has doubled the ceiling on mortgage interest tax relief for first-time homeowners. Under Section 20A of the Income Tax Act, if you're a first-time homeowner living in your own property, you can now deduct from your taxable income the full interest you pay on mortgage principal up to $30 million. All of the interest you pay, you now can deduct it from your taxable income. That is a government that cares about you owning your own home. What does this mean in practice? It means the government is sharing the cost of your mortgage with you. That is what it means in practice. That the government is sharing the cost of your mortgage with you. We're not just giving you access to loan. We are making the government your partner in building your home. Every year, when you file your taxes, The interest you paid on your home loan comes back to you, directly reducing the tax you owe, increasing your disposable income, and putting more money back in your pocket. It is an annual dividend on your decision to invest in yourself, your family, and your country. Why are we doing this? We are doing this because we view home ownership as not just an economic transaction, but as a statement of belonging. When a family in Guyana owns their home, when their name is on that title, deed, or transport, when their children grow up with a backyard and a bedroom of their own, when they are building equity rather than paying rent, something changes. Security changes. Aspiration changes. The relationship between citizens and nation changes. So I can go on and on, but I will stop here tonight. And I will say to every Guyanese family, you have a government that is your partner. A government that is investing alongside you. And we, at this Building Expo, the Most Honorable Prime Minister Andrew Holness, we want you to be confident that Guyana private sector, with our banks, with our builders, with our material, that we can build that community that needs to move because of the erosion that took place after the hurricane. Let us partner with Jamaica in building that 300 plus homes, because that is the only way we can demonstrate the level of growth and advancement in our business solutions. Today is tomorrow's future, and tomorrow's future is built today. Thank you very much. God bless all of you. I wish all the exhibitors well. We have more work to do with the Prime Minister, so we'll come back tomorrow night to visit all of the booths. And I want you to know that we are here with you, for you, and by you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You may be seated, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, Kurt, I would like us to remind the audience, those here in the stadium with us and everyone else at home, just what they can expect over the next 3 days at the International Building Expo. So if you didn't know, for all the chutney and soca lovers, Friday night at 9:30, we will be hosting Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, His Excellency, the President, the Honorable Prime Minister of Guyana, and the Most Honorable Minister of Jamaica, with his accompanying ministers, members of Cabinet, and other invited dignitaries, are going to proceed for the official ribbon-cutting ceremony, declaring the International Building Expo 2026 officially open.
It's who I am. It's who I am. Hands up, hands up. Hey, hands up, hands up. Building Expo posse. Hey, I am a Guyanese. I am a. No matter where I be, I am a Guyanese. I am a Guyanese. I am a Guyanese. No matter where I be, I am a. It don't matter where I be, I'm proud as to be me. I'll always represent,
Guyanese in every party. Inside of the feds, country people overseas, never deny your Guyanese. In the morning, in the evening, in the day, in the night, I tell you, anywhere I go, I got my flag, my GT flag. Hey, I am a Guyanese, I am a Guyanese, no matter where I be. I am a Guyanese, I am a Guyanese, I am a Guyanese, no matter where I be. I am a Guyanese, Kunjas.
From Georgetown, Guyana.
Pop it, baby, drop it, girl. Drop it, bam.
The Gal Them Governor is live in the mix. Selector Andre.
It's passion. Give me. say that I am the same customer. Feel like a sweat. Bring your body close up. I feel like a wheel and
help to remove human biases. And that is important in public service in the region. Because our societies are so small. There are biases. Somebody might be living next to someone and they hear a project is coming. I don't like that guy, I'll object to this thing. And they have a friend in the system. So this allows us to identify.
We know that very well.
This allows identify those businesses and those challenges. So the system was built based on the challenges that we were facing. We had projects. I'll give you an example. When we came into office in 2020, we found on the desk of the Minister of Public Works port development projects along the water worth hundreds of millions of US dollars. That was on somebody's desk for 3 years, 4 years, nothing. We unlocked that, went through the process with EPA, had all of it approved within 6 weeks, and all of that investment came online within 3-4 years. More than $300 million in investment along there.
It's very important, as we said, because there are people who have administrative and regulatory authority who are only bounded by the pertinence of the law on which they stand. And they don't look beyond that to say what is the impact on national development. And so they see a project that comes in as just something on a piece of paper that it doesn't meet their standard, it doesn't meet their particular biases. And so they throw it down. Or just out of laziness or carelessness, they throw it down, they don't move it forward. The country loses the investment. Jamaica suffers, but it is also backed up by a kind of civil society outcry that views every action of government to expedite something as having a purpose. And you can't grow a country like that. The mindset of the people have to become pro-growth. pro-development and believe that yes, we can build fast and build well. I think Guyana is showing it.
And also the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, is critically involved in this. So an entire section is dedicated. So if they see a complex project, they would say to the application process, hold on, this is not a normal project. You need an ESI here. You need a full-fledged impact assessment. So that applicant is then told upfront. You don't wait 3 years after, a year after to hear that. That this project you need a full-scale ESI or an impact assessment.
So President, let me congratulate you on having congratulations on having a 45-day approval. Now we do approve things in Jamaica. You know, it can't go fairly, but on average, there are all kinds of obstacles and roadblocks that prevent the quick approval of projects that are relatively straightforward. And we're going to be changing that. We have implemented NARA, which was a fast-track project that is considered to be a national program. But the real issue is how to get the average person simply to just improve their home or build a home, to get out of the ground quickly and not have to contend with a dense and uncaring bureaucracy. Things like these.
And we do a lot of GPS and GIS mapping. So we do a lot of in-house validation and also in-field validation. So they don't need anxiety. Living in an area, upload some photos, they do the satellite validation and they just correspond. Good. One of the biggest problems though, it was not real, is the resistance of the local authorities.
Oh,
because what this does, what people look at this as taking away power I have and power I have and don't know what we want to do, especially the local authorities.
Listen, I'm saying it not for the record, but it should be said. It's all about, if you introduce a transparent system, then there is nowhere for people to hide and make a profit. You know, so that's the, it's you understand.
If you can walk this way, yeah, no, but that's why you walk in, you everything on the other side.
This is concrete.
Concrete, yes. And it's all concrete.
And that includes the cost of the land.
Sorry. As well, it's more than
What makes it look so small?
All of these will be
all of this is already under construction.
But you look at there are literally all the
On this side here, you will have like 40,000. So this is when you're going on the west coast and then you come up to the west coast. Alright? So you see here the wheels motion area. The wheels development.